Danny Segura for MMA Junkie. I'm here with former WEC champ, American Top Team coach Mike Brown. First of all, Mike, we're getting here closer to Thanksgiving. What's it like here at American Top Team just a few days out from Thanksgiving?
Numbers are slowing down a little bit because it's we're going into December, but monster fights coming up, so there's some heavy focus. We got I think 3 major world titles in the next 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, that December 11th card for UFC 269, the last pay-per-view of the year. You guys have Amanda, you guys have Dustin. We have Poncinibio as well. You mentioned Pedro Munoz, Kyoji over at Bellator. So you guys are still very busy. So let's start off first of all with Dustin. He's fighting for the UFC lightweight title. 3rd time fighting for a belt. He won the interim, obviously fell short against Khabib. What's the feeling like? Because, he's been in big fights before. Is it kind of business as usual? Does this feel important?
Yeah, it's super important. This is top of the mountain, top of the food chain, #1 spot in the world. We're confident going in. He's been at this level before. I think his resume is the best in the weight class. With Khabib retired, I think he's the best guy, and I think he's proven it time and time again. I think it's a crazy game, but I believe he's a better fighter, and I think he's going to get the win.
And what was the sort of bounce back mentally after the Khabib loss? He was very heartbroken. Obviously, we know that Dustin is a huge competitor. Now, as you said, he seems confident as ever. A lot of people claim he's the best lightweight in the world right now. A lot of people think he's the uncrowned champ. What was that bounce back from that tough loss?
He's good, man. He's strong mentally. He took it in stride. Came right back to the gym and was working on some things. And we knew, hey, man, a few things could happen. We could be right back there, another fight or two. Not the exact way we thought it would happen, but here we are again, back at the top and ready to prove that he's the best in the world. I think the fight with also the big money fight. He could have already fought for this belt, but there was a big opportunity with Conor. He didn't want to pass that down, and it was a good gamble. He gained, made a bunch of money and got a whole lot more followers.
Certainly a huge fight with the Conor McGregor trilogy. And now with fighting Charles Oliveira, what do you make of Charles? A lot of people underestimate him. A lot of people think there's other lightweights outside of the division that are better than him, outside of obviously him holding the title. Obviously, you think Dustin Poirier is the best lightweight in the world, but outside of Dustin, do you feel like Charles is the man to beat? Do you think he's the best 55er right now?
Well, he's the guy with the belt, so that's what matters. He's very dangerous. He has the ability to probably tap anybody. So there's some really red zone danger areas to worry about with him. He's got a lot of experience. Been in many big fights, just as Dustin. But I do think Dustin's beaten better guys in his career.
And what would it mean for Dustin to get an undisputed title? I know he's been interim champion before, but it just, he's a veteran of the sport. He's done it all. He's been around for such a long time. What do you think it would mean for his career? After everything that he's been through.
It's just, it'll be amazing. I don't know if words can really describe it. It's a lifetime of work coming to a head, and to the spot where you can't get any higher, the ultimate view. This is where we're at. He's very close to that moment, and in 2 weeks we're going to get it.
Now let's talk about Amana Nunes. She's defending her belt against Juliana Peña. What do you make of that matchup? A lot of people, whenever you go into an Amanda Nunes fight, not to be disrespectful to any other ladies, but she's a huge favorite. People just automatically assume that she's just going to run through everybody. Miesha Tate had some interesting comments recently and said, hey, I think out of all ladies, Juliana Peña offers a different look. She's got that wrestling. Do you feel like there's sort of a fresh challenge here for Amanda Nunes?
Of course. Every fight is dangerous. It's tough. It's hard when you're in a situation with Amanda where everyone expects her to win because of her track record, it's difficult because if you don't just completely dominate, it almost people look down upon it. But no, Pena is very legit, very tough fight, and has a bit of a different style. It's a very strong grappler and a very dangerous opponent. And somebody who's not always easy to look good against.
And Kayla Harrison, she's been working a lot with Amanda Nunes for this camp, right?
But before Kayla's fight, they were training together quite a bit, drilling, rolling, and I think it was making them both better, pushing them to just another level, if you can believe that. They're top of the food chain and still improving, still getting better. That's the luxury of being here, man. We got great coaches and unbelievable deep talent pool. And the old cliche, iron sharpens iron, but there's some truth to that.
And not to make things weird or awkward, but everybody talks about a potential fight between Kayla and Amanda Nunes. Obviously, you must be like one of the very few people that wouldn't want to see that, right? You're cool with both. I mean, what does that feel like as a coach and being in this space that that seems to be a big point of conversation?
Yeah, I mean, this is the dream fight people want to see, but this is same team, same gym. Not going to happen. I wouldn't imagine. This is different organizations, different trajectories, and there's plenty to eat out there.
Certainly, no doubt. And let's talk a little bit about just overall the gym. I mean, you have a lot of fights coming up. Kyoji, we just talked about off camera how you think he's a super underrated fighter. Talk about his trajectory. He's fighting for the belt. He's risen champ right now, getting a chance to become Bellator champ once again against Sergio Pettis. Big fight for him, and can you just highlight how underrated this guy is, because you have a lot of belief in him, and certainly he has the record to prove it.
I truly believe he's the most underrated fighter on the planet. My mind is blown that I'll look at most MMA rankings, and he's not on anybody's top 10 list. This is unbelievable. I mean, he could be the #1 guy in a couple weight classes, and I think this is going to help him get more notoriety in America once again. I think, kind of out of sight, out of mind. He's fighting in Japan, dominating, beating guys for the last few years, blowing dudes out, but just not getting the credit where it's due. He had the torn ACL injury. He was out for a bit, but he's back. He was the Bellator champ. He was stripped of the title when he had a torn ACL, but Pettis is a difficult challenge and also got a really big name. I think this is exactly what Kyoji needs to get the recognition he deserves.
And I guess what do you think his ceiling is? Because he's obviously training super hard. You talk about how sometimes you gotta slow him down a little bit because he wants to train all the time. I mean, are we seeing like the best of him right now, or do you think there's still a lot more room in his prime for him to give us maybe another gear or two?
For sure, he's got several years to go, and I think he can be the absolutely the best guy, #1 guy in the world at two weights, 125 and 135. He's not a big 35, but he is just that good, super unbelievably talented.
And lastly, I just want to get your thoughts on American Top Team getting a little bit of a presence in the pro wrestling world. Dan Lambert, obviously, slamming Chris Jericho through a table. Obviously, Jorge Masvidal making appearances. Kayla Harrison, Orlovsky, Junior Dos Santos, you name it. Are we ever going to see Mike Brown in a pro wrestling world?
No, I'm not. I make fun of Dan about this. I'm not a giant pro wrestling fan, but he definitely has a talent for it. He's pretty good, and I genuinely laughed out loud when I was watching it. He's got a knack for it. He's very good, and his character's pretty funny. Playing himself, but he's pretty damn good at it.
I did see you one time at World Series of Fighting, no longer exist, walking out with a luchador mask, Jessica Aguilar fighting for a title. You remember that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Jessica had the Mexican pro wrestling theme when she on her entrances always. Yeah, that was really cool. Much respect to Jag, one of a women's fighting pioneer and a legit world champion, World Series of Fighting. That was the most prestigious title at the time. That was a very high prestige title.
probably the closest we'll see you come to pro wrestling, right?
Yeah, maybe in the stands, but I enjoy it every now and then, but it's really not my thing.
All right, Mac Brown. Well, I appreciate the time, man, and best of luck in all these amazing fights that you guys got coming up.